The Clipse have finally dropped Let God Sort 'Em Out, and it is an extremely solid project that you can play front to back. But I do have my critiques on it, and I talked about it on episode 444 of the New Old Heads podcast, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper today and a little bit further analysis of why. I'm Sean Lonegevity with Bringing Down the Band and the New Old Heads podcast, and this is my Unpack series where I go a little bit deeper. I'm going to go ahead and play this segment, but I guess what I'll start off with is just a little premise. I am a music producer, a hip-hop music producer. I've been producing since 2001. Instructor at Decademics here in Indianapolis since 2017. I even teach at a collegiate level at a local university. If you don't like nuance, then don't listen. Like, if you just want me to say that everything's really good and that everything's black and white, that's not how I look at things. And if you have a problem with me looking at it like that, you can go somewhere the else, right? The Clipse album was about a 7.5 or an 8 to me. And the reason why it was a 7.5 or an 8 was because of Pharrell's production. I think Malice and Pusha T did spectacular. I think the features were great. John Legend's part on the intro track was perfectly added. Even Stevie Wonder's part, it was great to hear Tyler. I think Nas did his thing on his feature. Shouts to Stove God, Abliva. Overall, even Pharrell singing was okay. But I think from that standpoint, everything was great. My only critique, and this is from somebody who does like the project, and I can play it front to back for the most part, was the production. Just not being as cohesive as I would want it to be. And that's not to say that I didn't like more than I liked. But I think that if that was a little bit more solid, this could almost be a near perfect project because everything else outside of the production was almost flawless.
We talked about the Clipse. We've been anticipating the Clipse project. Mm-hmm. The Clipse show no signs of rust with their new album. I actually agree with that. After 16 years, rappers and brothers Gene Malice and Terrence Pusha T. Thornton have reunited to give fans the fourth studio Clipse album entitled Lord Sort 'Em Out. It also featured John Legend, Kendrick Lamar, Nas, Pharrell, I believe Tyler, the Creator.
Oh, yeah, and obviously Kendrick bodied it, you know.
And if I'm leaving out anybody else, I said Nas, but did I leave anybody else out?
Stove God Cooks.
Stove God, yeah. Shout out to Stove God. He was on the hook for one of those records as well.
Also,
Adliva.
Adliva. Did I miss?
Definitely butchered his name. But
anybody else? I know those were the main names, but I don't want to.
Or Abliva.
Oh, yeah, Dream. Yeah, Dream was on the hook too, yeah. I really enjoyed this record. I believe it was, I'm going to pull the track list up because I do not want to be.
13 records.
There we go. 13 joints. I believe this is entirely produced by Pharrell. You know, additional production, wherever you want to find it.
Tyler, the Creator, forgot to say him.
Did I say him or no?
Oh, you did say him.
Yeah, I thought I put him in.
And it's also Let God Sort 'Em Out, not Lord Sort 'Em Out. Let God sort him out.
You
Appreciate you.
You try to.
What am I thinking about?
Some little brother in there.
Shout out to LB. But let's go ahead and get started, man, because I've been waiting on this project for a while. I want to hear what you gentlemen think about the project overall. So what were your initial thoughts about the project overall? Jay Moore, I'll start with you. What you think?
I think I speak for everyone when you saw that first song, you in your mind, knowing the Clipse, you just know what this is going to be about. And then it goes to a real emotional place that had me thinking, okay, well, I had to listen to that song twice.
Yeah, I had to pause. I was not expecting, what's it called? The Birds Don't Sing. Was not expecting that from an intro. It's kind of wild that it was the intro. Might be the best song on the album. It was heavy. It was heavy.
Even though I'm blessed to still have both of my parents. Mm-hmm. You know, it still just hit me in a place where I'm like, okay, dude, what are we doing with the rest of this album?
Yeah.
But I think the album, it's one of those records that I put on after I got past that first song and just wanted to break down everything that there wasn't one skip on the album for me. There were some things where I was like, but it wasn't enough for me to skip the song.
Yeah, I definitely didn't skip anything I've only listened to it once, but I'm going to replay some of the stuff here in this just as it comes back to remind myself, but I didn't skip anything the first time through. There were a few things I didn't like, but I think it's genuinely something that you can play front to back.
That's high praise.
This is, 1 through 13. Like I've listened to it several times since. It's pretty much the only thing I listened to this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Going, back and forth to work, time where I unwind and sit and play video games. That's what I listened to. I was listening to no podcast, no other albums. It was 100% Clipse weekend.
Yeah.
So I have nothing but high praise. The beats other than some small technical things like this. Now being friends and listening to how Lone breaks down records, that's how I listen to records now.
Oh, you in the club now? Huh?
I'm in that club.
Sorry about that.
I'll hear things.
I don't have the capability to listen to stuff in a very stringent black and white. You're talking to somebody who was a blogger, who was also a very active music producer, has produced so many records. I've been a part of so much. But also, like, I was a blogger, man. Like, back in Bringing Down the Band's days when we were on Odd Blog, like, we shared over 12,000 posts. There was a time, and I've said this multiple times on the show, but there was a time in the early 2010s where, like, I would get 100 emails a day of music submissions that I would go through. And I can't really describe what that does to your brain, and especially a brain like myself, but, like, I just have this critical nature of how I approach things. I feel sorry for anybody that looks at art in the or has to look at art in the particular manner that I have, from a critical lens that I do. I'm sorry if you have to listen to your favorite group and you have to be critical about them. I don't want that for anybody.
I'll be like, from a structural point, I will question those decisions, but it wasn't something that made me say, "Oh, that's whack." It wasn't at that point. But just 1 through 13, man.
There's one really whack beat on there. I'm going to talk about it.
This is why I listen to hip.
There's actually two. Now that I think about it, there's two specific ones. The first half of I bring it up later on, but the first half of that record that Nas is on, that first beat is not it. The second half is dope. The first half is not it. And that Mike Tyson beat is
pop.
Yeah.
Even though people, will say, "Oh, the coke talk and all the stuff talk, the drug references, and it gets old." No, it doesn't. At least not for me with the Clipse. I'm sorry. I talked about it a little bit last week when I said, hey, something can be a bad taste as long as it tastes good.
Look out now.
So I don't have any.
Everybody's a little bit of a hypocrite, at least.
Problem with hearing these bars. Like, it's the same way, like, when I listen to Lil Wayne try to do the same thing, I'm like, man, get this shit out of here. But when I listen to Pusha T, I'm like, that was clever.
No, that's real. That's real. Lone, what'd you think?
Yeah, but the way Pusha T does it is Pusha T does it at a high level.
Curious to hear what you think, because I'm being very rude right now. I'm curious to hear what you think about the album, but also
Mike is a music producer. The guy talking right now, for those that don't know, he was my mentor when I first started making beats, and then we've made music together for a long time. But, like, he is also an extremely talented music producer.
Production.
So when we have these conversations, people that don't know us just think that we're two random guys being critical about beats, but, like, I could talk your circle around stuff that you have no idea what I'm talking about. It's just what it is. I'm sorry. So I have to preface this because people like to jump down my throat when I have expert opinions on music production.
Talk to him.
But you can go and Google me.
Yes.
So I agree with Jay Moore. I like this record a lot. Well, let me rephrase that. I like this record. It's definitely one that I could press play and, to the same degree, listen front to back. I think Clipse, I think Pusha T and Malice, I think they did everything they needed to do. This is kind of the same stuff that I said earlier when I addressed you guys on this.
Facts.
The features were great. I love the Tyler feature, Kendrick feature, obviously. I like the John Legend feature.
Yeah.
And I even thought that the things that Pharrell was doing with his singing, I mostly liked for the most part. Production stuff is definitely something that stood out to me. I say this with a grain of salt, saying that I can listen to this front to back and I think it's straight how it is, right? Mm-hmm. But my one critique is the production, and it is starting with the really bad Wu-Tang beat. Like MTBTTF, whatever that is. Me and Mike have been talking about how Wu-Tang as a entity of 9 members, as a collective for the first 3.5 albums, extremely solid, right? But a lot of their B-side materials, a lot of those B artists, a lot of those artists that they brought up, the sound just never evolved. It just became just super repetitive and corny. And we've been talking about this for over damn near 25 years now. So this is kind of an inside thing between me and Mike about this, but it's one of those things, every time we hear a specific type of beat that sounds like that, it's just kind of gives me the ick a little bit. So it's just what it is. From there, whatever.
Coke to the face or blow to the face.
Blow to the face. Starting with that beat, and then there was a few other ones that were just kind of misses to me. The way that he started this with his programming, the way that he was using kind of like the keyboard strings and the synth-esque elements, it was kind of like, it was very synth heavy, but kind of the drums were kind of like lingering in a way, Mm-hmm. I thought it was great.
And
I need to expand on that too, because I don't think I went super deep in this. But like when I first listened to this, I was like, I'm a music producer. I'm used to rap and stuff, but I'm a music producer, right? And so like this is what's involved in my day from a day-to-day basis is sound. I was impressed. After I listened to the first 2 records, I was like, ooh, Pharrell is doing something that is extremely hard. He is creating an entire different type of sound, and he's trying to, with a major record like the Clipse, this is a new type of sound. Like, sure, there's semblances of, there's like a little bit of that Ye sound that he had for a while, but there's definitely like nostalgia Clipse feel. But like the stuff that he's doing in there, I've made very synth heavy hip hop production instrumental projects, and they're challenging. And so like, because they can be very corny, if depending on like how the sounds are used, and people won't necessarily like them in general, especially if they're too synthy, right? Okay, it's very easy to make a synth sound corny, but the ways that he was utilizing it for the first, or the way that he was like inserting it in like the first 6 records, actually, I thought were spectacular. I thought it was really good. I thought by track 6, the sounds that he was using were, and not on every track, but most of them, they were mostly cohesive. And it was like creating this very interesting mold of sounds that was really establishing what this album was going to be about. I think the second half, what happened on a handful of the records was that he didn't lean into it heavy enough, and some of it actually became corny and repetitive. And I don't know, it's like Mike Tyson, it's like a MT, blah, 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 whatever. That one was a huge miss to me. The first half of, I already mentioned, of the record with Nas, that was a really huge miss. And then there's another one that's got like some horn sounds in there. They just didn't feel like they meshed. And the crazy thing is that the sound, the songs themselves were still generally not bad. But for somebody with a critical ear like myself, man, it was really, it just like, this went from being a solid project, which I would probably give it about an 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5, 8. If the production was better in these elements, like if it was better in the areas where, in my opinion, it missed, because of how good Malice and Pusha did and how everything was put together, this could have been a 10 out of 10. So that's why I'm just disappointed, is because like it had the potential to be something super, super spectacular, and it just instead was just really good. So again, I'm critical of this stuff. That's what I do. Obviously, it's the Clipse album, and they did what they needed to do with it.
Yeah.
But there were a couple places on there where I'm just like, this song could have been better if the production was a little bit better.
Okay.
So that's just the way that I feel. But still solid. Yeah, let me pull this up here.
In boxes, I was checking my mentions, saying you was tired but not ready to.
That's fire.
You run from the spirit of repossession. Too much.
That's nostalgic. It's fire, man.
Back, I've topped all these lists. Where's my prize at? 60 days start.
It's still like, even so, that's track 3, right? And it's still the POV. It's still fitting in the aesthetic very, very well.
It ain't no secret, so be it, so be it.
So be it. I really liked the record, but I do think sonically this was the first one out of the first 3 where I was like, even though I liked the record, it didn't aesthetically match, but I still like it, right?
3P, niggas is my sons, and that's on repeat.
And then we're back with it with Ace Trumpets, because like the synths match up perfectly, right?
Niggas is writing statements and say they didn't. Dream of taking you.
Again, with this one, the All Things record, All Things Considered. The thing about this one is that, again, he's playing around with like these synth elements, but with the drums doing interesting things, like nothing standard. That one, even though it's not one of my favorites, I think it fits the aesthetic of the album extremely well.
Pressure, I've been knee deep, key deep, we in ZZ's, me and Lee, get you fronted for.
This is so garbage to me, man. Like I really hate this beat. I really hate this beat. And like, if you like it, that's cool. I don't think this beat did this song justice.
Screenwriters took chains and touched change like King Midas. Imitation is.
Yeah, I'm not going on that one, man. I'm not going on that one.
From heaters up to fevers up, bitches in the back to see this.
This one fits the aesthetic to me. Like, I like this one. This one I do like.
Want me hit her like an archer, but I'm not that sprint, so I starve her.
Yeah.
Can't trust the mouth where the pipe go. They tried but couldn't love you.
FICO, I like. I think that's a great record too. The drums are a little weird, but the drums are a little nostalgic. They feel like a little bit old school Clipse.
Wide open. Now all the smokers call him Moses.
The beat on Inglourious Bastards, it leaves a lot to be desired. This one was not it for me. The horns are just not.
We really netted what we grossing.
The drums don't match with it. It sounds old. This is one of those that just sounds old to me.
So far. Could Denise good bitches fuck with Rockos?
So the So Far Ahead record uses the same type of synth element that was in that other record. What was that? Bass trumpets, I think.
Play musical chairs for the stage.
Yeah.
If I was Brittany Griner, I'm a needle.
So Far Ahead uses the same same synthesizer. I think is the exact same synth preset that is used in Ace Trumpets. I like it a lot. I don't know if this is a call and response. You know what I mean? But I do like this beat. I think this one matches really well.
This is culturally inappropriate.
Surrounded by niggas
This Let God Sort 'Em Out synthesizer is absolutely horrible.
with tears that don't drip. Talk about that ain't the ghost that you are.
And this is one of those ones where I feel like I know what he was doing here because he's trying to keep it aesthetically right. But the chords that he's playing are just not it, and the drums just don't match it.
To go get. Finally got the courage, but you still a whole bitch.
I know I'm critical. It's what it is.
Single-handedly boosted rap to its truest place. Fuck speaking candid.
The beat switch was straight. The Nas feature was straight. Interestingly enough, though, for my opinion, I don't think the Nas feature adds to the project. Not that I don't think it's bad or anything, but I don't think it adds to it. Even with the production, I like that. Like production wise, I like it, but I don't aesthetically. I may need to listen to it a little bit more, but I don't aesthetically think that it's something that is. It would be probably something I cut, to be honest.
Cleaning out your closet, the one you kept your demons in. Hard for me to hunt it in. Co-defendant cave-in and lawyers.
And the outro, man, the beat is very lackluster. It's very, very lackluster. I wanted to want more from it. I like how it closed out at the end. Seen it all. But I do think that that's a good way to close it out. You know what I mean? So, there's a little bit of a track-by-track breakdown. And as you can tell, there's only like 3 or 4 places where I'm like, nah, this ain't it, personally. Like, it is a very good project. But man, really wanted to like it more. Project. So.
I ain't mad at that.
Are you talking about structural things? Are you talking about the mixing?
I think the only reason I know how close it was for me personally to be like, wow, this is a perfect album. And it was just not quite there. Mixing wise, I thought it sounded straight. It didn't sound straight. It sounded perfect. It sounded good. But the more so the repetitiveness and also the sounds he used.
Okay.
The Mike Tyson one that you're talking about, that sounds like
I like that.
That sounded like a throwaway recipe.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't like that shit. But also, like, there was another one where he's got these random horns that pop up in there, and I just didn't.
That's the one where I was like, okay.
I didn't think the horns matched. To me, I don't remember the name of it. It was towards the end somewhere.
Yeah, what you think, bro?
And that was Inglourious Bastards.
Personally, I think it's a great album. I think it did what it was supposed to do. That first song got me, and then it brought me back into where I thought I was, what kind of project I was listening to. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because that one was kind of tough. To me, I actually had this conversation with Joey Friend. Shout out to him. As far as how I listen to this album, a lot of albums, if I'm a fan of the artist, I listen to it as a fan first before I go into my critique mode. So I was excited to get this album. Yeah. So as soon as I press play, of course, I'm going to let it ride all the way through. Initially, my first thoughts was, okay, there's no skips. Once I got all the way through it, certain songs locked me in to where I'm like, damn, this is makes me want to ride around in a new car. I might go shopping today. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I didn't. But it makes you want to hear it a certain way. It makes me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And as far as the production, in my personal opinion, I don't think he really missed on here except for the song that I don't like, which is the MTB TTF. No, I'm sorry.
The
Abita. Yeah, the Abita track. That's the only one that I think I could have been cool off of, or they could have left your favorite.
Gobo.
That was Jackson. Shouts to Gobinator, our intern. Also a music producer. But He was a student of mine for like 5 years, but he said that was his favorite record on there.
Gobo Speaks.
I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on this album, but anyway, it's only been out.
I said 5 years. He was a student. He was a student of mine for 6 years, I think.
It's not even been out a week yet.
Yeah.
And it was refreshing to hear a hip hop album, because the way this is structured, it's structured like an album that came out on a Tuesday in the late 90s, early 2000s, where I went and spent my hard-earned money and was satisfied with my purchase.
Yeah, I do like, and I feel like I would be happy if I spent money on this. Like, I'd be happy with it. It just doesn't feel like he 100% executed on keeping the sonics all the way through it. But I still think it's a great album.
Yeah,
so
I think it's great. I think
sometimes I feel like I have to, like, on the show, just because I know the hate that I'm going to get from time to time simply for looking the way that I do. Sometimes I overcorrect. And I noticed that I overcorrected a little bit too much on this one. I should have just kind of said what I said and left it going. But realistically, I didn't want people to think that I didn't like the album. But I do think it's important to point out the nuanced pieces that it's one of my expertise levels. So
track 1 all the way through, as far as like where I'm like nothing's missing to me, I would probably say all the way to 6. With all things considered included in that.
Yeah, that's 1 to 6 is solid to me.
Yeah,
to me, that's like, if they stopped there, I would have been perfectly fine.
But then
I do like some of the other ones.
Yeah, Mike Tyson, Blow to the Face. I like that record. FICO, I like that record.
FICO's tough.
Inglorious Bastards.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like everything on here, to be honest with you. And it was nice to hear two brothers together complimenting each other.
Yeah.
And for Pusha to bring his brother back into the fold.
Yep.
And for him to rap like that.
Yeah.
Like, he hasn't been on a secular album, so to speak, in years. There hasn't been a Clipse album in 15 years.
Yeah.
Ever since that last album came out, Pusha T has been either solo or working with Kanye.
Features,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for him to come out like this, like Malice was holding the torch on a lot of these songs. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's what stood out to me most is Malice's performance. I'm talking about lyrically all the way through. And as a person that I'm very familiar with the Clipse, I damn near was like, man, I owe this brother an apology, because he's always been dope. Like, but Pusha T has always been quote unquote pushed as
he's more polished.
He's more polished, but he's also more popular.
Yeah.
Malice
he never stood. Well, Malice was still doing music. It just was more churchy music,
which is perfectly fine. I ain't mad at that.
Dead Bury the Dead.
Yeah,
good project.
I would also say though, like, to what you're saying, like, if Malice was more polished, he would sound almost exactly like Pusha T, which it's a good contrast back and forth.
Yeah, so. No, for sure. And his
that's really the only way that I can tell the difference between the two, because they do sound so similar. You know, I know more learned people that like are really Clipse, super Clipse fans will probably obviously be able to tell the difference. But me, as somebody who's always liked the Clipse, and like Pusha T specifically, like the way that his diction, like at the end of his phrases, is very particular. It's actually something that I actually really like about his delivery.
And his wordplay, man, how he's putting words together on this, to me, is phenomenal. Like he's the star for me on this project as it relates to just we listen to everything. You know, production wise, I actually agree with Lone, especially on track 7. This Mike Tyson, whatever the acronym is. I'm sorry,
Mike Tyson, Blow to the Face.
Yeah, that's definitely a Wu-Tang throwaway try.
Hated it.
You know what I'm saying? That one ain't land with me. I'll be honest with me. With you on that one.
I'll let you jump back in, but there's one thing I wanted to say that I didn't get to that's important. I also, when I first listened to this, after the first 3 or 4 records, to Terry's point, like I was listening to this as a fan, right?
Yeah.
And so, but also with my analytical ear, but I'm listening to it, I'm like, what is Pharrell trying to do here?
Yeah.
Because like, when you think of like bringing the Clipse back in 2025, you almost expected the sound to be completely different than kind of what we got almost. But I feel like nobody else could have executed the project in the way
that Pharrell
did. So what I mean by that is like, you kind of expected to hear like, Alchemist style beats or Griselda style beats. You know, it's the coke rap with that type of stuff. So you kind of expected, I don't want to say expected, but I wouldn't have been shocked if like that's where the sound went. And honestly, I probably would have liked most of it, to be frank. But I was happy that Pharrell took it where he did, because this experimentation in this particular type of way, like introducing different types of sounds, that's a little bit away from what's popular to do, especially like the synth heavy kind of stuff. It's only Pharrell can like make that kind of cool. So I'd be very curious to see if we start to see stuff like that populate itself more in hip hop spaces.
Absolutely not.
And
You know what I mean?
and Lone, I don't think this is another one of those examples where the old guys, quote unquote, don't sound old. Like, I feel like Pharrell, even though whatever we want to talk about the production, I don't think the production, there's nothing about this to me outside of the Wu-Tang Mist.
I think there
sounds outdated.
I think there's a couple other beats.
You think there are?
Yeah.
That
I've already talked about them.
sound outdated?
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to.
I don't know about that,
because
bro.
I listened to this one time all the way through, and I definitely want to go back and listen to it again. This is one of those projects where I may have a subtly different opinion the second time through, right? And to be honest, when I just streamed them really quickly a moment ago, I actually liked more of them than I did the first time through. So there's that. But there are a couple beats where I think there's only 3. I think there's like 3 of them that I'm just not going on. It just felt a little dated to me. But again, it was always on the second half of the album. The first half of the album was just super
like
locked into me.
The beat for Ace Trumpets, and then the beat for, I believe the one that's in 3-4 is So Far Ahead with Pharrell singing on the hook. It's kind of.
I had to go back and listen to this. I think I actually put the disclaimer in the video here, but it was actually 6/8, not 3/4.
Got the same synth, but
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that.
Yeah.
But the 3/4 part of it and the way they were rapping made it work to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it made sense to me.
Yeah. And nobody raps in 3/4.
Nah.
That is not easy.
No, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the way they put it together and they were going in and out, like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
I think what he did on here was actually.
Rapping in 3/4 is actually a lot more difficult than 6/8 because 6/8 can feel like 4/4. Super music nerd talk, but
adding to the nostalgia factor that this is a Clipse album.
That's
so
fair.
I'm a
go listen to Odyssey's. Odyssey has a record called Counterclockwise. He raps in 5/4, but there's actually a time change where the drum fill comes in right before the chorus.
Milk and the real help is to go rough when you show love and it heal well. Show enough, you know I got your back.
If you ever want to hear like a masterclass on how to rap in a different time signature, that's a good song for it.
try to kind of keep it like you remember the Clipse.
Yeah, that's what I was taking from it.
The updated pack on there. You know what I'm saying? Like this to me is showing Pharrell flexing his muscle as far as being a producer and not having to lean on an AI engine to create some shit.
Talk to him.
Being from Virginia.
Talk to him.
You know what I'm saying? He came in the game probably around the same time as Timbaland, maybe before, because he was working with Teddy Riley.
SWV. Yeah, they was
Pharrell
out.
ain't lost a beat. No pun intended.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he still lives in the moment and he's still able to create something and a sound that still sounds fresh.
Yeah,
and that's what I appreciate about the project. Like you said, it does. Some of these songs probably could have been on Lord Willing or
for sure,
or
To the
Casket Drops.
Casket Drops, yeah.
But to me, it sounds like it's a more polished version of that. Like he got into that bag, but advanced that bag, so to speak.
Yeah, I would definitely say, again, the first part, definitely. I feel like the second half sounds a little bit more dated to me, a little bit in that aspect. But
I think that was intentional.
That's the thing that when I said I was curious about Pharrell's intention of this, because to Terry's point about the nostalgic factor, even though it sounded a little dated, again, I'm being nuanced here. Even though it sounded dated, I didn't necessarily not like the songs. Like, I'm just speaking on production from the productions. They're still good songs, and they make sense. Like, if the beat was that bad, the songs would be bad. You know what I mean? Like, even I can't listen to the Mike Tyson record, so I guess I do have one skip on there. The Mike Tyson joint, like, it wasn't a bad song. I just don't like the beat at all. Like, that's just one where I just do not. I would immediately skip that. I would probably immediately skip that. Now, if I heard a remix to it, I might like it, because, like I said earlier, everything that the Clipse is doing is great, is amazing. But what the Clipse is doing, like what they are doing, is really good.
Lyrically, this is unmatched. Like I'm already saying, to me, it's my favorite release of the year so far. I mean, Larry June dropped too, and it's a phenomenal album as well.
I need to check that out. Even though I'm not a huge Larry June fan, he does make some dope records.
But like this one, to me, yeah, this is it. I was very happy with this release.
I think this one, this Clipse record stands out a little bit more than I enjoyed the Larry June, by the way, too. But I kind of knew I knew what to look for, I guess, on that one. Even with the Clipse, as we say, there's nostalgia attached to it. I enjoyed it more. Maybe it's just because of anticipation, or maybe just because, it's just the Clipse popping back out, and Pharrell, like the gang's all back together again, whatever. But yeah, I enjoyed the Clipse record more. Like, I'll
say my only complaint on this album is it only ran for like 40-something minutes.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint as a whole. on this album with 13 songs and 40 some odd minutes.
But that's what we used to get all the time. You know,
I'm not mad at it be having 13 joints.
It seemed like it used to be a little longer than that as far as the actual play time.
Well, you know, there's no skits and interludes, if you will.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we forget Illmatic wasn't but 39 minutes.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, plus now with, you know, today's attention span, I think they got in and got out of there at the right time. Because I would have been excited about a Clipse record, but I don't want to hear 19 joints.
Yeah, that's just,
you see what I'm saying?
Not necessarily the track amount of tracks, but I mean,
just the running time.
I know it was said that Jay had these tracks and could have jumped on something.
That would have been cold on Fight.
They were saying that Kendrick had 2 records, the one he did and the one he just dropped the video for.
Chains and Whips.
Yes.
Chains and Whips. I think he could have been on both of those, but he just picked one. But like another feature would have been cool to me, but I'm not complaining because like I said, I got a hip hop album that I thoroughly enjoy in 2025. So
yeah,
I think the joint where with Tyler the Creator when it switched for
I thought that was
Malice was crazy.
I thought that was
crazy, bro.
That was a great record.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Tyler showed his whole ass on that record too.
He's been waiting his whole life for this.
Yeah.
hey, he did what he's supposed to do in that moment. Shout out to him.
Yeah, he definitely took advantage of a situation he's been eyeing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Forever. With I think Pharrell, is his favorite producer.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I was happy for Tyler when I heard his voice.
like when Tyler talk too. I like well, he's obviously a confident artist, but I like when he get in his bag and he just start talking his talk while rapping very well. Like that's a good place for him to be in sometimes when he just pop off. I like that.
Yeah, I actually like that song more than the Nas feature.
Yeah.
The Nas beat change was fire though.
I like the beat change. I like the beat change to anyways.
I like Nas's verse.
I like his verse too, but like I said, Tyler showed his whole ass on that verse. And
Kendrick, man, I know
we tip my hat to him on that.
I know we broke it down, but
Kendrick's was
yeah,
that was fire too. That goes without being said.
Yeah, y'all still
a lot of gin and gin out there.
Stop playing with that boy.
And then the line that was supposed to be of question, all he did was saying playing a trump card, and he said something about playing a trump card, and
I don't know, like the people
something
at Def
like
Jam
that.
and
I
shit.
don't know. It's crazy.
Let's listen to it.
Full of free will. Trump card, tell me not to spare your life.
That's why you get dropped from Def Jam? Okay.
That's all it comes down to.
Basically, yeah.
I also too heard I think it was Jeremy Hecht who had the theory about how the whole verse might be from the perspective of Trump.
Really?
Yeah, I think Justin broke it down too. But like it's interesting.
I hadn't heard
like
that.
If you go back through it and think about it, from that perspective, it's very interesting.
There's somebody right now that's typing. Y'all swear up and down. Kendrick is just, oh my god, just by you saying that, you triggered somebody in America right now.
I'm sorry. That Drake. The only people that think that are the people that think Drake is the greatest thing to walk the earth, and people that just intentionally just want to be in conflict. So
enjoy conflict, huh?
That's it. There's nothing wrong with praising Kendrick. He is that good. The end. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
We are a hip hop podcast talking about great hip hop,
and we can like who we like.
Yeah, and
that's the part though. That's the part. We can like whatever the hell we want to like.
Mad because you don't like or you don't hear it the same way you heard it.
Like there was that Jackson. Shouts to Jackson. He made the clip of me like breaking down like Drake not getting it after all this time or whatever. Right? People are in there like all this mental gymnastics. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like this is just like
this is casual conversation.
I don't even care. Like why do I care? Like. We talk so much, we talk for 2 hours and we're, yes, a lot of it is like kind of targeted, but I don't remember what I said on the show. I'm just saying whatever I feel. So if it's Kendrick dick riding, then all right, man. But that's pretty much the end of the segment. But I'll say this. I think the album for me, solid. I'd give it probably between a 7.5 and an 8, depending on how I'm feeling. I was originally thinking 7.5, but after listening to it here the second time, I think I'd probably bump it up to an 8 because there's really only like 3 beats on there that I think are kind of a miss. I think what the Clipse did themselves, I think as far as the writing, I think that's a 10 out of 10. I think the features are a 10 out of 10. It's really only the production with Pharrell, which is kind of crazy because he's a legend. He's great. He's amazing. I love what Pharrell does. But yeah, super solid. It's okay to have discourse. That's what this is for. It's to have discourse. It's to think about things a little bit more analytically. That's what this Impact series is about, is for me to, look at stuff a little bit deeper than I can on the show, because ADHD brain sometimes, and sometimes doing a lot of stuff, like I'm somebody that, sure, I can present the stuff that I say in the moment, but I like to think about the things that I say before I say them. And what this series allows me to do is to go a little bit deeper into what my thought pattern is behind saying the same. So hopefully they get presented a little bit better. But watch your goddamn mouth in the comments. Patreon.com/newoldheads if you want to become a patron of the show. Support the show. You can become a free member or a $5 member. We'd love it if you would become a member of the things that we do. Show's getting ready to go on 9 years in November, which is kind of crazy. A show every week. And yeah, catch you next time. Peace.